Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and the lows from around world football. Shock, I'm doing the hand movements again. Patrick Van Straten's here as well. We're kicking it off straight away with our first winner, Liverpool.
Yes, indeed. Liverpool won yet again 2-0 against Sunderland. This is despite the fact that Felipe Coutinho went off injured. It looks like he's going to spend 4 to 6 weeks on the sidelines, though at least it isn't the broken ankle that we first feared after a collision with Didier Ndong. Now, Liverpool are now second in the league. They're just a point behind Chelsea. And since they lost to Burnley early in the season, they've scored 38 and conceded 10. In fact, if you look at their record, it's pretty much all W's with just 3 D's in there. They've dropped only 6 points. They're 10 points clear of rivals United, and it's November. And their defensive record in terms of shots conceded per game is actually the best in Europe at the moment. They're only conceding 7.5 shots a match. Compare that to 7.7 for Bayern, 7.8 for Juve, and 9.9 for Atletico Madrid. It all adds up to a very, very exciting picture for Reds fans.
Jurgen Klopp must have been a very happy man on the weekend, of course, whipping up that Anfield crowd into a bit of a frenzy in classic Klopp fashion, and also telling the fourth official where to get off. Somehow didn't get sent off though, like Mourinho, did he, Jurgen? Shock. Nevertheless, very impressive performance again from Liverpool. Joel Matip impressive, and Jordan Henderson really flying under the radar as one of Liverpool's better players this season. He's actually got the most successful passes in the whole of the Premier League, and the most successful tackles in the Premier League as well. Really showing what a box-to-box midfielder he is, whilst Coutinho and Firmino are getting the glory. And like you said, Pato, they've got a fantastic defensive record, and I think that's down to mainly Joel Matip. He's forged a great partnership with Dejan Lovren since he came in on a free transfer in the summer. Brilliant business by Jurgen Klopp. Before this game, he won 9 tackles, 18 interceptions, 6 blocks, 24 aerial duels, and 55 clearances. Also on the weekend, he completed 78 passes. That's the most of any defender other than Dejan Lovren, who completed 94. So Liverpool, as a unit, looking fantastically strong. But how much is that Coutinho injury going to hinder their title charge? Let us know what you think in the comments below.
First up in the losers category, you might be able to tell what's about to happen. It's Man United.
1-1 at home against West Ham. Our 4th consecutive league draw at home on the bounce. I've had enough! I'm fuming. Jose Mourinho, you've got as many sendings off this season as you have home league wins. It's completely unacceptable. No drive, no urgency, and I'll tell you what, call ruthlessness. Rashford, what a talent, quality player, but he couldn't finish his dinner on the weekend. What was going on? Honestly, it's an absolute disgrace. We're a shambles at home, and that's an understatement. 10 points from a possible 21. Our worst home form in 26 years. We're Manchester United.
Wow.
What is going on? We're completely dominant in games, but we cannot kill them off. There's no ruthless striker putting the ball in the net. That's what I was thinking Zlatan was going to be at the start of the season. But no, he's more interested in creating chances. We've had 91 shots in our last 4 home games. And how many goals have we scored? 3. 91 shots! 3 goals! Pull your finger out of your arse, United. Sake! I'm done. I'm not speaking again.
Okay, look, I understand why Joe's frustrated, but let's look at it this way. Man United have the worst conversion rate of any team in Premier League history at this stage of the season. Now, we like to imagine that conversion rate is pretty consistent, that players are good at it and they're always good at it. But actually, we see it pinball around like crazy. Marcus Rashford last season was scoring at an absolutely alarming rate, and this season can't manage to get the ball in the net. But what's important is the process. Do United keep creating quality chances? Yes, they do. 17 shots to 6 this weekend, 14 chances created to 5, 60% possession. Zlatan Ibrahimovic in his last 2 United games has created 11 chances. Wow. At some point, those are going to start being put into the back of the net. And bear in mind, this is not a team that's at its best yet. Henrik Mkhitaryan is still playing his way into the team. Paul Pogba is only just finding his feet creatively at United. And I do think that there's a long way to go before they get to their best level. On the other hand, they are 10 points behind Liverpool, like we said earlier, and they do need to pull it out of the bag if they want to compete for the top 4. What can we do? Well, you don't change your team round after a very good fluid performance in midweek. They were very good against Feyenoord, and we need to see more of that in the Premier League. And the Europa League is harming them. 5 points from a possible 15 after Europa League games this season. So United, they need to pull it together, but they do have the raw tools there to do the job. The question is, will Jose Mourinho get enough time to turn it round, Joe?
Jesus Christ, he better do. It's clearly not the manager's issue. Of course, there are failings there, but David Moyes, he was shit. Van Gaal, he was shit. And Jose Mourinho, he's being shit. So let's not blame it completely on the managers, but we cannot sack Jose Mourinho. But what would you guys do? Would you sack him or would you keep him? Let us know by voting in the poll right now. We're heading over to Germany now for our next winners, and yet again it's RB Leipzig. You've got a great 4-1 win away at Freiburg. They went 6 points clear at one stage. Of course, Bayern hauled them back in with a nicked win on the weekend. However, they have now got Red Bull Leipzig more points at this stage of a Bundesliga history than any promoted side in history. They're also on the current longest winning streak of any side in Europe's top 5 leagues. They're in incredible form. They're a great counter-attacking side, brilliant to watch. They've scored more goals on the break, that's about 9 goals on the break, than any other Bundesliga side this season. Wow. Very, very exciting team. And they've actually scored 27 goals and conceded just 10 already. Really, really testing Bayern Munich. The first team to have done it in a long time since Borussia Dortmund under Jurgen Klopp, really. And my favourite statistic of the weekend, Peter Galaxy, getting his second mention in as many weeks. 6 years ago, on the weekend, Galaxy scored an own goal as Tranmere lost to Hartlepool in League One. He's now top of the Bundesliga with RB Leipzig. Miracle workers, Red Bull are. Miracle workers, Pato.
They are indeed. They have this incredible eye for talent as well. We look at Timo Werner, he's 20, Emil Forsberg, 25, Naby Keita, 21. That's incredible. These guys are so young and are already completing games and contributing at an incredibly high level. Emil Forsberg was just voted the Swedish FA's midfielder of the year, and actually no midfielder in Europe's top 5 leagues has been involved in more goals than he has this season. He's been involved in 11. That's absolutely incredible. Naby Keita, once again, proving that he's one of the best box-to-box midfielders around at the moment. As we said, only 21. Banged in a scorcher after 80 seconds. 88% pass accuracy, 7 interceptions, 5 take-ons, 3 clearances, 3 shots, 1 goal. Absolutely incredible stuff. Timo Werner as well, 7 goals, 4 assists this season. He's actually got as many goals in his 12 appearances for RB Leipzig this season as he got in 33 for Stuttgart last year. These guys are really, really taking off thanks to the work of Ralf Hasenhüttl, and it'll be interesting to see where they can end up. Our second losers of the week also come from the Bundesliga, and it's Borussia Dortmund, who lost 2-1 away to Eintracht Frankfurt. Now, this was not a particularly impressive performance, and it's their 3rd loss of the season. They're now down in 7th place, 9 points behind Leipzig, and Husti came back to haunt them once again. Now, this guy has scored more goals against them than he has against any other club, and he bagged the first before setting up Haris Seferovic, who secured the 3 points. Aubameyang did score for Borussia Dortmund, but they really struggled against that back 5 of Frankfurt, having 68% of the possession. Dortmund could only muster 12 shots on goal. Not
really good enough, is it? Not really good enough. Frankfurt as well, somehow, I don't even know how they managed it. They only had 60% pass completion in this game. Incredibly low for a Bundesliga side. Thomas Tuchel was fuming after the game. I don't know whether you saw his press conference, but he was talking about they didn't deserve any points from their last 2 games. They've been terrible in training, terrible off the field, terrible on the field. He was not a happy bunny. As I said, only 60% pass completion, but they still managed to make 9 key passes. Borussia Dortmund aren't looking great. And you can tell they're not looking great by the fact that Thomas Tuchel had to make a triple substitution. That's how fuming he was. It's the first time in Bundesliga history that Borussia Dortmund have made a triple substitution.
That is a quality stat.
I can't believe that statistic. Marco Reus came onto the pitch, but it wasn't a happy return for him. He only had 1 shot at goal, and he only found a teammate with 67% of his balls. So, although he had a great return midweek, on the weekend wasn't quite as good. Borussia Dortmund, like you said, 7th in the league, really struggling under Thomas Tuchel. Where are they going to finish, though? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Our final winner comes from down south. In fact, it's Southampton, Patrick.
Yes, indeed. They managed to beat Everton 1-0 on Ronald Koeman's return to St Mary's. Now, Southampton, I think, are absolutely fantastic this season. They haven't had great results recently, but then you look at who they've played. They've had Liverpool, they've had Man City, they've had Chelsea. Earlier in the season, they were very unlucky to lose to Arsenal at the Emirates. And here, they managed to get a 1-0 win with Virgil van Dijk absolutely pocketing Romelu Lukaku. Now, the one standout was really a guy called Josh Sims. You may not have heard of him, but he's 19 years old and he was man of the match. He made 5 successful dribbles, completed 100% of them, had 3 shots and got an assist for Charlie Austin's goal, which actually ended up winning the match. Seamus Coleman didn't know what to do with the lad. And Nathan Redmond also had a couple of shots. Southampton ended up with 17 attempts on target. To put that in context, Arsenal had 16 at home against Bournemouth. So this really shows you the quality of team that Southampton are now.
I think they're as good at the back as they are going forward though, Patel. Virgil van Dijk and Jose Mourinho have filmed an ironclad centre-back partnership. One of the best centre-back pairings in the league. Yeah. And they got the likes of Fraser Forster behind them. Such a good defence. On the weekend, in fact, Font and Van Dijk had 8 interceptions, 9 clearances, and really nullified the threat of Romelu Lukaku, who has been in scintillating form. He was dispossessed 4 times.
Wow.
And that's Van Dijk just showing how muscular, how good he is. I can only see him leaving the club in the summer. But nevertheless, Southampton is such a well-run club, it won't really make a difference. We see every season they lose their top players. Every 2 seasons they lose their top manager. And yet they still come back, bounce back and get into that top half. This season, they're only 3 points off 6th place. So you never know. Under Claude Puel, they're still pushing for that Europa League spot. Fingers crossed they can get it because they are a great team to watch.
Finally, in the losers category, we come to Tottenham Hotspur. Ooh, power shift. Yeah, they lost 2-1 to Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge, and their record at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League era now reads played 24, 1-0. Now that is really disappointing, especially because they took the lead in this game thanks to an Eriksen screamer, and they were on an unbeaten run going in. They hadn't lost in the Premier League yet this season. Eriksen's goal was absolutely phenomenal, but it was his first of the season. He's had 39 attempts without scoring until this game. They had the lion's share of the possession. They had 54%. They had 3 more shots than Chelsea, and they were good at creating those key passes, 10 to Chelsea, 7, yet they could not get the win, and they couldn't even hold out for the draw.
Classic choking cockerels. They've actually not been good for a long time now. 1 win in their last 10 games. Pochettino really getting angry in his post-match press conference. Wasn't happy with the performance midweek in the Champions League either, of course. Slipped out of it, went away and lost to Monaco, so not great there. The team as a whole just struggling for a bit of fluidity at the moment. Moussa Dembele gave the ball away more than any other player on the pitch, which is something you completely would never think he would ever do. Gave the ball away 5 times. He's one of the strongest dribblers in the whole league. And Harry Kane, who usually loves a London derby, we talked about him scoring 17 goals in his last 18 London derbies, couldn't find the net. And I'll tell you why he couldn't find the net, Pato.
Oh, God.
Because of this. He wasn't at the game. He was in my local boozer on the wall in a Victorian painting. That's coming up on screen now. Shocking scenes. Nevertheless, he managed 1 shot all game. Did have a goal disallowed, but Harry Kane off form. Moussa Dembele off form. Toby Alderweireld still injured. Danny Rose out. It's not looking great for Tottenham Hotspur. What do they need to do to turn it around? Let us know what you think in the comments. So that's all we've got time for today, but have you seen any other winners and losers? If you have, let us know in the comments below.
Now, if you enjoyed this video, head over to Euro Football Daily and check out Euro Roundup with me and Chris Hamill. We cover some big teams like Bayern Munich and Porto.
Definitely do that. And as ever, guys, please do like and subscribe.
Catch you next time.